The college football experience week 10 pregame show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks presented by WynnBET. WynnBET's now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET is what you need to win. Sign up today. Bet $100 and get a $100 free bet at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/wynnbet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to grab your free bets today.
This is Mike Leach, head football coach at Mississippi State, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes. Woo-wee. Welcome to the college football experience pregame show. Week 10 is a loaded lineup. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
Oh, man, we got a great slate today. I'm very excited. Got a couple guests going to come on too. See the chat lighting up. Jake Paquin saying, great day to be a football fan. The Shiz79 says, football over everything. Yes, I concur. I got to bring on the host of the NBA Gambling Podcast. Make sure you check it out. The season's already tipped, all right? You hear him pretty much I know last Saturday was the one exception, but every other Saturday, you hear him on the morning show. Give it up for my guy, Terrell Furman Jr. How you doing, Terrell?
Kobe, what's going on, my guy?
I mean, it's a glorious day. I know. Look, Terrell's, representing the Air Force Academy. They open up they kick off in I think 27 minutes against
11:30 kick.
Yeah, Army Black Knights. This one's in Arlington, Texas. So I mean, first off, are you gonna play that? Are you gonna play your academy, or are you just
they got a couple packages in for me. I missed majority of the season for personal reasons. I had some off the field issues that I had to make sure I handled and all that. So it's gonna be real short, real light. I'll get a couple snaps in there, a couple plays that are designed for me, and just something to kind of keep them honest. But it should still be a slower pace game. I say you probably still want to hit that under.
Yeah, I wrote it, man. I bet it. First thing I saw the lines came out, I was like, I'm taking the under. I'm taking the points. So it was 7.5. I'm seeing it at flat 7 right now. Yeah. But I mean, in these games, first off, I mean, Army's won the last 2, I believe, and in these games, a touchdown is it's like getting 30 points. You know what I mean? So I'll start things off on the right foot here, and I will lock up both the under and Army plus a touchdown. I think Air Force can still get the win. And look, I'll even root for Air Force to get the win.
Yeah. I mean, it's 3 points is a lot between these games. So I've seen these games end, by 1. So yeah, definitely. I'm with the +7. It should be a very, we're not going to kill them, boys. We're not going to go out there and try to kill them, but we're going to do something to them. We might come out with a win. I'm thinking a 2017 final score.
Yeah. The Shiz79 goes unders in the last 15 years, 42-9-1 when in service academy games. That's incredible. That's incredible right there. That's the game that will be tipping off while we're doing this show, actually. And we will have a guest later, TJ Reeves, who's called he's called both Alabama games and LSU games. So when we go to talk about that game, he's seen both teams. He's called both teams with Tiki Barber. He will hop on with us to talk about that matchup. Not the early morning slate. Well, first off, Texas A&M. I was already on Florida, even though I'm not really convinced Florida's good.
Yeah.
But Texas A&M appears they have several players out with the flu, including the starting quarterback that they were going to play with. Now, it's not a huge deal because they've been playing different quarterbacks all the time, but still, it's a big deal when your whole roster, a substantial, they said multiple players, going to be out with the flu. The line has dropped from 3.5 down to 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
You got to play on this game, or you just going to stay away, or what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of betting, I'm just gonna stay away. But I don't know how I can back Texas A&M like this. Like it's just way too short. It doesn't seem like they've been prepping for this all week. It just kind of seems like something that popped up in the locker room, and now they're trying to figure out what they're going to do this weekend and go out there and play a meaningful football game. So I don't like what Florida's been doing all year, but I'll take them today.
Yeah, I'll ride with the Gators too. Just everything going, and let alone the flu. Just at the locker room at A&M, you got to wonder. We were down there. Shout out to the fine people of College Station, but yeah, I have my concerns. There's a 9 a.m. game that I actually like. Maryland heads to Madison, Wisconsin, where Jim Leonard is still coaching for his job, essentially his future. And he's 2-1 as a head coach. He's 1-0 in Madison with a blowout win against Purdue. This is his second game in Madison. Leonard played at Wisconsin. I am going to lock up the 5 points right now against the Maryland Terrapins, even though I know Wisconsin hasn't looked great this season. So, want to follow me on that one, or what are you thinking about that game?
No, I'll follow you on that lock. It's just because this Maryland team has been really, really bad on the road, and just this staff has not found ways to be able to beat these premier Big Ten teams on the road. Like maybe, one season out of another, they kind of catch somebody at home, but they've yet to proven that they can go into a hostile environment, at least to me, consistently, and make me think that I feel any confident with them as a dog to even cover the spread and not get a win. So yeah, I'm going to roll with Wisconsin here.
Yeah, and even the last 2 games Maryland played, they were a 5-point win against Indiana and a 7-point win against Northwestern.
Mm-hmm.
Wisconsin's better than those 2 teams, and if anything, that Northwestern game was tied up with like a couple minutes left in that game. I think the Badgers roll big at home today. 9 a.m. slate. I guess we should talk about Tulane because they are ranked.
Yeah, that was a shocker to me.
Yeah, shout out to that program. Tulane's laying 6.5 at Tulsa. This is a classic look ahead spot.
Not even classic look ahead, but just classic. This is the first time you've been ranked in forever, and you're gonna have the letdown. Like we see it with James Madison the week after they made 25. That was the week that they finally lost that game. Like it happens to all these teams. UTSA, I think it happened to. Yeah. It happens to all these teams every year that they make. They're ranked, especially when you get to college football playoff time and you're ranked and you normally not ranked around that time. Like it just seems that's always the case. So yeah, give me Tulsa here laying a touchdown, basically a touchdown.
Yeah.
And I just think that Tulane just doesn't show up, whether they lose outright or whether they go in here and just kind of piss with their food.
UCF is on deck, right? UCF and Tulane are tied, and UCF's coming into New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I was all over Tulsa, but then NC Nick was talking me off that cliff because he said, dude, Tulsa can't run the ball this year. They throw the ball. Tulane's pass defense is what elite in the country. Mm-hmm. So he swayed me to take Tulane, but I'll be honest, I don't feel good about it. My first reaction was take Tulsa. My first reaction was, dude, this is first off, it's a far trip. Like New Orleans and Tulsa are not that close. Yeah. And then obviously with UCF on deck, I could totally see a potential dog spot there. I think Tulsa's plus 195 on the money line. Minnesota is at Nebraska. I just saw news. It doesn't look like Casey Thompson's going to play. Should we? I was originally taking Nebraska plus, I think, 16. Should we be switching that pick to the Gophers?
I'm not sure. I think that I'm just gonna stick. A lot of the times when college football teams have a late injury, and as long as it's not like a string, like 3, 4 injuries, that line pretty much holds where it was before that player was announced that they was out. And it's a lot of next man stepping up for college football. So I think I want to just stick with Nebraska in the points. I don't want to lay this huge number with Minnesota on the road, but I definitely don't like it.
Yeah. The 9 a.m. slate actually has some games that I liked, or at one point I liked. One of those ones is North Carolina -7 at Virginia. I mean, this one's just absolutely reeks. The line doesn't make it. If I was setting this line, it would have been 14. Virginia's offense is among the worst in all of the Power 5. The defense is decent, but the defense, with it being decent, it ain't going to be able to hold up against Carolina's got like pro players on offense everywhere. I think this offense is going to be too much for Virginia. I will lock up the Tar Heels in Charlottesville. Right. I mean, am I crazy? Why is this line 7? Last time they played last year, Carolina scored 59 points on them and won by 20.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really make any. I think that it is a little bit of a short line, but it's also North Carolina on the road. We've seen them go on the road, laying in a number different times this season and not be able to get there. So I can't. It's just this offense for UVA has been so bad. It's been so bad since the offensive coordinator left, and they haven't been able to just kind of move past that and find ways to take Brennan Armstrong, who was really decent, really decent last year, and do something with him this year. The defense took a step back as well. UVA is just a bad team. So yeah, later points with UNC
all day. Like, it's just obvious to me. Slick Rick in the chat says UNC team total over 34.5 today too. Lock that too. I'm on board.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Shout out to Ragin, or if I'm butchering that, my apologies. He says, hello, my favorite sports picks, folks. Keep the show going. We will. And this is what I was alluding to with my lead up to that. I had a couple games that I felt great about. One of them originally was Texas Tech at TCU. Mm-hmm. That was before I saw TCU get disrespected in the CFP rankings.
Yeah.
So I am going to reverse my action there. Do not take the 8.5 points in Texas Tech, because I think TCU might really put it on them. That motivation is all you need when they disrespect you like that. What are you doing in this game?
I think I gotta go with TCU. I was kind of on TCU beforehand in the first part. I just didn't like it because it's just like a rivalry game, and but it just seems like this is the spot where TCU goes out here and says, hey, we're supposed to be up there in that college football playoff conversation. The Big 12 is always the, pushed to the side. They'd rather take 2 SEC teams than put a Big 12 team in.
The Big 12 is really good this year. I really believe, I really believe it's the best conference, because if your worst team is Iowa State, which if you look at the rankings and the records, that's the worst team. That's like the best worst team by far of any power conference we have. I would lay a lot of points if Iowa State was playing Boston College tomorrow, or if Iowa State was playing Northwestern or Colorado or Vanderbilt. I would lay a lot of points. I would probably lay 17, 20, something like that, 21 maybe in some of those matchups. That conference is really good, and I think TCU rolls there. Kentucky heads to Missouri. I just read this morning that Eli Drinkwitz got a 2-year contract extension. I almost spit out my coffee that's in the other room when I saw that. I don't know why. I mean, the only thing I can think of is you want stability for recruiting. That's the only thing I can think of, is say, hey, we might fire this guy in a year, but you know what? To be fair, if he can't get recruits because of the contract situation, maybe extend him. And so, because allegedly recruits pay attention to that. I think they pay attention to, perhaps, maybe the NIL situation.
Yeah.
If it was me, I wouldn't care that the coach might be gone in 2 years because you can just transfer at the end of the season. But regardless, Missouri did that. Missouri's and this line's moved all over. And this has a service academy over under at 40.5. Do we know if there's weather in this game or something? Because that is a very short line, but Missouri is currently a 1-point favorite. What are you doing here?
Missouri's a 1-point favorite.
That's
Ew.
surprising, right? It is going to be cold. There is a 5% chance of rain, but 44 degrees currently in Columbia, Missouri. Maybe that's I blindly want to say take the over though. 40.5. These teams don't run the option. They're not going to be bleeding the clock like that. I'll take the over on the 40.
Yeah. I'm going to just stick with Kentucky. Missouri just hasn't shown. Kentucky hasn't shown anything either, to be honest. This is just it just kind of feels like this might be maybe a little bit short of Kentucky's way. And I guess that the books are just saying that, all right, we don't care if Will Levis is supposed to be one of the best quarterbacks in this class. Like, this team is bad. This team is bad. They're not going to win games. But I don't think they're Missouri level bad. I'll take Kentucky.
The line's weird to me. It's I know I just backed a weird line in the North Carolina Virginia game, but this line is really strange to me. I think if I was setting this, it would be like Kentucky minus 6.5, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to take Mizzou just because of the weird line, the fact that it is going to be kind of cold, and it's a game I don't think you really get up for. It's like, oh, we're playing Missouri. You know what I mean? Like, there's always that thing going on. So, Dre Youngin in the chat saying, "Well, I know we're talking football, but fuck the Nets."
Yeah, the Nets suck, man. Yeah, we was on the Wizards yesterday. The Nets blew them out by like 40, 50. It was crazy.
Oof. Yeah, I think I heard Stacking the Money was on that as well.
I'm on the Magic today, though. The Magic get a win as a home dog. Let's do it.
There we go. Orlando Magic home dog.
They're playing the Kings. They're playing the Kings, and the Kings are on an East Coast road trip. I think this is the last game before they go back home too. It just feels like a good spot to fade the Kings, who probably won too many games on the East Coast than they probably should have already.
There you go, folks. Subscribe to the NBA Gambling Podcast. Ohio State's at Northwestern. I don't even know if we need to talk about this, but I mean, Smith and Jigba and Travion Henderson are not playing. I don't really care. like, let's be honest. The third string or fourth string running backs at Ohio State are still better than the defenders at Northwestern.
They don't care.
I will lay the points. I will lay the 37.5 or 38, whatever it is right now. I honestly, folks, the only thing you got to worry about is calling off the dogs, but they haven't been doing that. Me and NC Nick been talking about this on the DFS show because I played against CJ Stroud in a bet where I was like, they're gonna be up. I forget who they were playing. Like Ohio State, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were playing some cupcake, and I was like, they're gonna bench him, dude. No, he played like they were up like 70 to like 21 in the fourth quarter, and he was still in there. They're going to pad the Heisman stats. Heisman's always look good for recruiting. So I think you lay the 38 with the Buckeyes.
Yeah, I'm with you. Hey, I can't tell you to sit here and take Northwestern at all. Like I can't even. I don't know. Just I'd rather sweat it out and just see how many points Ohio State can put up.
Northwestern winless in America. Gotta love that. They're one win in Ireland.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Marshall's heading down to ODU. It's a critical game if ODU wants to go bowling. But I know their tight end, like ODU is a tight end that's been on the NFL radar. He is out for the season. However, we got ODU catching 3.5 at home at SB Ballard Stadium. Can your boys do it? And can they? I think you take the points because you're getting more than a field goal. Marshall's been a really hard team to understand this year. 1 week
Yeah,
Marshall
up
looks
and
really
down.
good. 1 year they look, or one week they look really good. 1 week they look really awful. And I say take the points. ODU's in the more desperate spot if they want to go bowling. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm on ODU here, and it's the desperation. And I think ODU really, like, defensively, they're solid. Defensively, they're solid. It's really their issues on the offensive side of the ball, and the offense will get lost at times, like really, really lost at times when they're playing the game. And if this is a week that they can just kind of lock all the way in and be on, hey, I'm like we're going after this. We have a chance. We can still go bowling. We can do all this first year in the Sun Belt, Fun Belt. Like, yeah, no. So I'm with you. Give me ODU here plus the points. I think Marshall still wins, but I think this is a close game.
Yeah, and I think you're referring to Hayden Wolf, their quarterback. I think he's just a sophomore, but he's been very inconsistent. I mean, you look at the touchdown to interception ratio; he's doing great, 14-3. However,
Yeah.
just completing 57% of his passes and not a ton of yards per game there. Just kind of stagnant the offense has been, but the defense has shown up for the Monarchs. I agree. Take the points. Baylor's at Oklahoma. This is one that I am gonna just. This is a thing that I looked at. So Dave Aranda has been great against Jeff Lebby and Lincoln Riley, right? I know they run a little bit of a different system, but something chart back to his LSU days, chart back to last season when he played Ole Miss in the bowl game, or when he played Lincoln Riley. He is good at shutting it down, that offense, and I blindly told myself this season, even not knowing that Oklahoma would be this this bad potentially record wise. I blindly told myself I'm taking Baylor. I don't care what that number is, because I've seen too many times now Aranda's done this against those offenses where. So I will take Baylor plus 3.5, but I'm also just going to ride the money line. I know that's a lit environment. So, and Baylor's quarterback situation always makes me a little nervous, but I'm just going with the fact I think he can shut down that offense, and I think he's got the more physical team. Oklahoma's run defense has been terrible this year. So give me Baylor on the money line there. You?
Yeah, it's just, do we just call it the down year for Oklahoma? Like, we just officially call it the down year for Oklahoma?
Next year they'll probably be back, and this is cold. It's 44 degrees there, though. That might play in Oklahoma's favor a little bit.
I don't think that helps either team. All right, I'll roll with Baylor in the points. I'm not going to go out and say that it's a money line win just now, but I'm getting a field goal, so it makes me feel more comfortable with taking Baylor in this spot. But I think this is a close one. I really don't think either team's kind of been all that. Like, to be honest, Baylor has given me questions all year with their quarterback situation. Do they even trust the quarterback that they have? Like, do they trust him to go out there and make plays rather than just trying to lean on the run the entire game? And then you have Oklahoma, where they might trust their staff too much. Like, they might be trusting their offense too much and just putting them in really bad situations where you're trying to help force them to make a play. And that's just not who this Oklahoma team is right now. So it just kind of feels like there's a little wishy-washy on both ends. I'll just go ahead and take the points. So give me Baylor plus 3.5.
Alrighty. Penn State heads to Indiana. This line came down a tiny bit. It was at 14. It's at 13.5 now. It's kind of a snooze fest, but I will lay the 13.5 with Penn State. Bounce back spot. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that Penn State gets right. On the road, doesn't really matter to me. It's a good team versus a bad team. And I think it's pretty simple. If it was 14.5, maybe I would have caught me going the other way, taking the points. But 13, I still feel pretty decent in that for them to win by 2 touchdowns.
Syracuse heads to Pitt. Syracuse is lost.
I don't know. I'm going to tell you, I don't know.
I'm just taking the points. Qs are getting more than a field goal. I can't trust this Pitt team.
Pitt is really up and down. But I can say that Syracuse has showed me in the past couple of weeks that they can be exposed. They can absolutely be exposed. And so yeah, no, I'm gonna take the points. That's probably and just cop out and take the points since I'm getting points, but this really should be more like 2.
Yeah, I actually think. I mean, if folks, if you're betting this one, you might as well take a shot on the money line, right? I feel like this is like a pick. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. It feels like they're. I'm not saying that they're the same team, but it feels like that they're the same caliber of ACC team that's playing, same tier of the ACC playing in this game.
and I actually think I trust the Syracuse offense more, which is saying something because that offense isn't amazing by any means. I just think I trust it a little more than Pitt's. Game of the day, Tennessee heads to Athens between the hedges. I know you are friends with the Hendon Hooker family.
Yep.
So that might but I mean this line has been kind of all over the place now. It's up to 9. It's up to 9. So the Vols are getting 9 points. I don't know how, like maybe Stetson Bennett has made me look like a fool a lot on this show. And,
yeah, he
I
has.
just don't understand how you don't take the points. I really don't. Like this situation, I get it. Georgia's defense is really good, but they have one of their best players out for the season, actually, on the defensive side of the ball. The offense is not as good as last year because their wide receivers are depleted. They don't have very good wide receivers on this roster right now. They do have awesome tight end play. Their O-line is decent, but it's not as good as it was a season ago. I just think you have to take Tennessee. You're getting more than a touchdown. Am I crazy here?
No, no, I don't think you're crazy. I don't understand it my damn self, to be honest, but everybody's on Tennessee. That's the reason that you don't take Tennessee, or if you make a case, like that's the only case that people that are on Georgia have for betting Georgia is because everybody is on Tennessee. Everybody, literally everybody, almost everybody. I can't think of an outlet where I've seen somebody that said that, they're laying the points with Georgia. It may be people that say, hey, Georgia is going to win, or it's some crazy people that's out here telling you to just lay whatever the number is with Georgia on the money line and don't even worry about it. But everybody's taking the points with Tennessee.
I mean, the only thing I could see that really screws this for us would be like potential pick sixes or strip sack touchdown return or something like that, because I just don't think Georgia's offense is. I get it. Tennessee's, the thing is Tennessee's defense is not. They're not very good. But when you look at it, short of the Pitt game, I know Florida got some garbage points in the Alabama game, but Alabama's offense is way better than Georgia's offense. I know that stats could twist that some. I actually think this defense is playing much better this year, man. I think they might be able to force. I think one of the biggest keys of the game is if they can get up early, because I still question if Stetson Bennett can be a come from behind quarterback. Georgia, you look back at last season, they were up in like every game except the Bama SEC championship game, and that they put Stetson Bennett in a situation where he had to throw the ball to come back, and that's how Alabama beat him. I'm taking Tennessee. Sprinkle some on the money line. I know that sounds crazy, but let's go.
No, I mean, no, I can't. They're the best college football team out right now. In my opinion, they're the best college football team out. They have the resume. They have the eye test. They have everything. It's just that, can we trust ourselves betting with the public? And I guess I have to this game. Yeah. And if it burns me, I understand completely why. And it's because the public was on them.
Yeah. Oklahoma State heads to Kansas. I'm hearing that Spencer Sanders is not playing this game, and a slew of other. Well, I think he's actually.
And Jalen Daniels might be playing.
Yes. But Oklahoma State's without a couple wide receivers. They're without Dominic Richardson, their running back. Kansas is I think they know blood's in the water here, and if they want to go bowling, there's only a couple opportunities I think left. I think this is the one they get. Now this line has moved a little bit, which kind of tells me that Spencer Sanders isn't going to play. I feel like because Kansas is now originally OK State was like a 3-point favorite. It's now Kansas minus. I'm seeing a half a point right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the Jayhawks. You?
Yeah, I can't fade this Kansas team now, especially with all the question marks that are on Oklahoma State and Kansas just being able to find ways to get it done. Like that's just what Les Leopold teams have done in the past, and that's what they are right now. Kansas just continues to find different ways to get the ball done, to get the job done. So yeah, I'm rolling with Kansas here, -1, minus a pick and a half, whatever it's at. And I mean, with whether it's Daniels or Bean, I trust their offense. I'm not so certain if I trust Oklahoma State without Spencer Sanders, even though I can barely trust them with them sometimes.
Yeah, well, and also a lot of their other players are out too. Lock City, I'm going to take you to Memphis, Tennessee. I know UCF's coming off a gigantic win.
Tennessee. Okay.
I'm going to lay the 3. I think Memphis might be on the verge of firing their coach. I'm going to lay the 3 with UCF. I just think they're way better than Memphis. I will lay the 3. I know NC Nick was on Memphis, but I disagree with him. I just don't think Memphis is very good this year. If you look at their 4 wins, they're all kind of bullshit. And I think UCF's just clearly the better team, and they know that they got to win out here to win to play in the championship in the AAC. So I'm going to lay the 3. What are you doing here?
3 is tough because I mean I remember these UCF and Memphis games. They always get wild when they're like back home in Memphis.
Yeah.
I think there was one time it was like a 50-55 game or something like that. Like they always get a little bit wild. I think I lean. I think I'm with NC Nick and I lean Memphis a little bit. I know that I think that Memphis is questionable, but I think UCF is questionable on the road, and I'm not 100% certain that I'm comfortable laying points with UCF going on the road in an American, game. And just it's the fact that UCF is leaving too. Like they're on the way out the door. Like this is Memphis' chance to just be like, hey, like stick you one on the way out the door at home in a game that UCF probably feels like they should be larger than a 3-point favorite. And I kind of agree. I think they should be a little bit larger than a 3-point favorite. But that's enough for me to just sit here and say that I think Memphis is going to pull all the stops out for this game. And if they lose, it's going to lose close. It might be by a field goal to win the game at the end of the game. But I don't think that they're going to get absolutely steamrolled.
Yeah. I can see. I can see your point. I can see your point there. Michigan State's getting 16 in Champaign. Michigan State's got 8 guys suspended. I still am taking Michigan State because 16 points is a ton.
I'm not laying 16 points with Illinois.
Yes. So give me the 16. West Virginia's in Ames at Iowa State. Iowa State's laying 6.5. I don't like this game by any means, but I will lay the 6.5. I think West Virginia's got a terrible record in Ames, if memory serves me correct. What are you doing there?
And it's just the counteract to being in the Big 12. Your home games are really good. Your road games are really tough. So, I'm going with Iowa State here, and I'll lay the big number. I think that this is just a really tough road spot for West Virginia. They really should consider getting back into the ACC because I get that you have probably the best home environment because you're so far away, but that also makes all the rest of your road games really, really tough.
Yeah, you got Liberty at Arkansas. The Flames are catching 14.5. The problem is, though, I look at the injury report. Man, if you look at Liberty's injury report is insane. All right. Charlie Brewer, doubtful. Wide receiver Caleb Snead, out. Wide receiver Brady Brom, out. Quarterback Jonathan Bennett, questionable. Illness. Running back Shedro Lewis, questionable for personal reasons, apparently. Tight end Braden Monday, out. Wide receiver Eddie Ogle, out. Quarterback Sean Brown, out. Wide receiver CJ Daniels, doubtful. Wide receiver Javian Lofton, out. Quarterback Caden Salter, doubtful. What the hell? How am I supposed to?
Yeah, I don't know.
I actually thought Liberty, because of Arkansas's defense not being great, I was like, oh, Hugh Freeze can dial up some offense. I want to take Liberty in the points, but man, they make it hard now with this. That's like 37 players out, man. I'm like,
what I will say is that at least Bennett is probable and he's expected to play. So even with that illness, they're saying that he's expected to play, which gives you somewhat of confidence because he's been playing pretty well for Liberty. Like as what's my guy's name? Salter's been out with that ankle injury, and so Bennett has stepped in and played pretty well for them. Of course, Salters is the guy you want to roll out there. That's the freshman. That's the guy that was going crazy beginning of the season. But
it's a tough environment though, man, to go at Arkansas. I'm going to take the points, but I am reluctant in feeling, I thought earlier in the week, I was like, oh, I could see this being a game.
I would be reluctant if I didn't know for a fact that Arkansas has LSU on deck.
Oh, yeah.
At home, LSU is on deck. I think that this is a prime letdown spot. You have Arkansas, who they're seeing all this stuff too. They don't even know who to prep for because of all the injuries that are on the Liberty side of the ball. So they're seeing all this too. I can 100% see them looking past this. This is an injured Liberty team coming on the road in November to Arkansas in the middle of SEC play. Like, this is an easy spot for them to look over, and a Liberty team that's really good and honestly should feel that they got snubbed and didn't make the top 25 regarding everything that they've been through as a team this season in terms of injuries and all of that, and having to go through multiple quarterbacks. Yeah, no, they're still 7-1. They're still a really good team. I think that this could be upset city a little bit. I'll lock up Liberty plus 14.
Oh, there we go. You heard it here first, folks. I'll take the points. I'm not gonna lock it up, but I will play your music for the lockup here. As soon as I oh, there we go.
Yeah, no, I like Liberty. Hugh Freeze has proven that he can be that guy. So yeah, let's roll with Liberty here. 2 touchdowns. And Arkansas hasn't looked that good over the course of this season. They turned it on late, but they played Auburn last game, a really good road win against BYU, but BYU's come crashing down recently. I think this is a spot where they just kind of overlook it after getting those 2 really good wins on the road. So yeah.
Texas heads to Manhattan, Kansas. Texas is a 3-point favorite, and Texas is the only 3-loss team ranked in the CFP. What a fucking joke. I'm all over Kansas State money line. I don't care if it's Adrian Martinez or if it's Will Howard. I know Martinez is questionable, but Howard's been balling. They're not coming into Quinn Ewers is 1 road game. This will be a 2nd road start. Oklahoma State's defense is not elite by any means. Kansas State's defense is. Quinn Ewers was 19 of 49 in that game against Oklahoma State. I mean, give me the Wildcats. I think they're going to beat them. I think they have this one circled. I don't think it's a letdown spot. I know they just whooped Oklahoma State. I think they've wanted this matchup against Texas. This is the last time they're coming into the Little Apple there in Manhattan. I am all over K-State. Money line play. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I'm just not going to sit here and say that I think that Ewers is the guy that doesn't let them fold this spot right here. This just feels like a typical Texas fold spot on the road this late in the season as you're trying to make a push for whatever internal goals that Texas have for themselves. I know at some point they say that national championship, and then it gets kind of drifted off to college football playoff. And at some point in the season, it's, can we just make a bowl game? Like, I don't know where the expectations go out, but I think that this is the opportunity, or at least the time frame, where you just sit here and say, all right, this is the spot where Texas folds every point in the season, every year, whether they had a good season to this point or they had a bad season to this point. It just feels like this is the spot they fold. So I'm going with Kansas State.
Yeah, I'm locking that thing up. Let's go. Let's go. I like the Kansas angle, Kansas Jayhawks, and Kansas State. A little Kansas special. Clemson is traveling to South Bend, Indiana. I mean, Clemson is laying 4. I am very curious what you're doing here in this game because it's like 62 degrees, but I am seeing some rain. I don't know who that helps more. I think it helps Notre Dame more because they're probably more accustomed to playing in conditions, but this over-under's at 43.5. What are you doing here?
They both kind of put it on Syracuse a little bit. So, this just, I don't know, man. It feels like Clemson needs to go out here and put a good showing on it. They truly think that they're number 4 in the country. They need to go out here and put a good showing on. But what we know about the college football playoff, we know that the first 4 teams that they say are never really the 4 teams that get in here. And so if you want a spot where you think that they are going to go ahead and catch Clemson slipping, it's got to be this spot on the rest of their schedule. Next game, home game at Louisville, Miami at home, and then 3 home games left. So this is their last road game, and then you got Louisiana, Miami, and South Carolina. So it could be a little bit of looking ahead for this Clemson's team, saying, "Hey, if we get past them, then we're good, we're golden, and we should be looking at a college football playoff berth." That's enough pressure for me to say that they fold. I'll take Notre Dame and +4.
I will take Notre Dame as well. Marcus Freeman, kind of a tough first year. This is a chance to really step out there. And
this rights the ship. This 100% rights the ship.
Everything's good. Let's go. Okay, this next game, we got Alabama heading to LSU, and I wanted to bring on a friend here who's called games for both teams. And, I want you to check out this podcast. It's absolutely fantastic. It's the 3 Dog Thursday podcast on BetUS. Give it up for my guy, TJ Reeves. How you doing, TJ? Appreciate you hopping on the show.
Hey, listen, it's always fantastic to be with you guys. You're playing my song because I'm on Notre Dame as well as part of the 3 Dog Thursday podcast and video show. And you guys, I bow to. I mean, this is dedication, sitting here going over all the games that you guys do on the college experience. You do such a fantastic job. Thank you for hopping on the 3 Dog Thursday podcast to talk underdogs with me, and the video show that we now do as well on BetUS. And I was texting my man Colby and said, "Do you need a little Alabama insight for this game with LSU?" He said, "Do I?" Yes. We gotta have some of this. So the first thing is, Colby, I'm not sure, or if the guest has been to Baton Rouge, but night games there are a great equalizer. A phenomenal equalizer when they play there at night. And I know Alabama torched them 2 years ago in the pandemic crazy season, but that's no fans there. Ed Orgeron, obviously, in disarray after having lost not only Joe Burrow, but lost the offensive coordinator, Joe Brady, remember, went to the NFL.
Yeah.
So I kind of throw that out. I'm not an LSU Tiger. I kind of throw that out. I just think that's too many points. And Colby, as you mentioned, I saw this Alabama team twice already on national radio in the win over Texas A&M, which, what were they, like 24, 25-point favorites? And they had to scratch and claw with all the penalties and all the turnovers. They had 4 turnovers in that game. Bryce Young didn't play in that game, but they had 4 turnovers. I then had them 2 weeks ago in the win over Mississippi State. Bryce Young is back. They were much better. They were much better on defense. But I think here in this game, going at LSU and Jalen Daniels, the quarterback, who's played well running it and throwing it, I think that's too many points, guys. What are your thoughts here on that?
Yeah, I mean, first off, you get the Pasadena quarterback battle here. Both quarterbacks out of Pasadena, California. And I completely agree. You look at all the road stops for Bama this year, even that Arkansas game where they got up to that 28-0 lead. Arkansas battled back, got it to a pretty close score in the 4th before Jahmyr Gibbs pulled away late. I know that's the game Young went down in too, but the Texas game, they were very, very fortunate to get that dub. I mean, say what you want about the refereeing. I thought it was awful. Also, Quinn Ewers got knocked out of that game. He was scorching them. And then their other road test was to Tennessee where they lost. So I think you got to take the points here. If it, and Brian Kelly's family is going to be there too.
Yeah.
I mean, Terrell, what are you doing here in this one?
I just don't know how I can feel comfortable laying 14 with Alabama at this point in the season with what they're doing. And if you look at LSU, it seems like LSU is just playing with house money. Like they're over there when I'm at the blackjack table and I'm up and I'm just up. And I'm like, well, I don't care. I'll throw this there. I'll throw that there. I'll do this there. I'll do that there. It's because they don't care. He's playing with house money. He's playing with house money because it's Alabama. Nobody's expecting him to beat Alabama. Nobody's expecting him to beat Alabama. Of every game on the schedule, when they sat there and they were sitting with Brian, they were like, "Oh, well, we're just gonna flip past Alabama game. Like, if we lose that one, that's fine. Like, if you win, you're gonna be crowned king. You're gonna absolutely be crowned king. But if you lose, everybody will understand because they're on a different level. Like, that's just nothing. So I think that this is gonna be a day where it can go really good or it can go really bad. Like, he can go out there and say that, hey, I don't care. We're going to go for it on fourth down. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to do this. We're going to attack that Alabama secondary. We're going to do all this stuff. And it can 100% work for their favor. 14 points? I don't think so. I think that this is – and what you say about the night games adds another element to it. Yeah, I have to be on LSU in this set.
TJ, you said it looked like you were going to say something there.
Well, the thing is, Brian Kelly can make a lot of friends. I mean, he can act like this isn't the biggest game since he's been at LSU. This is the biggest game since he's been at LSU by far, and he can make a lot of friends if they find a way to win this game. One thing to keep an eye on here, Alabama's secondary was better when I saw him 2 weeks ago against Mississippi State, and obviously they had the bye week to work on this some more. They put a different defensive back in Eli Ricks, who was much better in coverage than the Terrion Arnold kid. We're singling one kid out. They've got a veteran secondary, but it looked like earlier in the year in the Texas game, in the Tennessee game, even the Texas A&M game, they were picking on Terrion Arnold. So Ricks is probably back in there again as a young player, new to the program, to play in the secondary. That may make a difference for Alabama. But again, the Tide as a double-digit road team over and over again, when you go back, were they not double-digit favorites at Tennessee? If not, they were close to it. I know
it was like 8, maybe.
It was something like that.
Yeah.
All right. In the Texas game, they were definitely a double-digit favorite, did not cover.
Yep.
They were double-digit favorite at Auburn in the Iron Bowl, always a wild game, and barely won in overtime. You go back, and there was another game late in last year that they
Texas
were a double-digit favorite.
They were double digits against Texas A&M.
So you keep looking at them as a double-digit favorite on the road, and they have not been covering those. Just beware. I'm just saying here on the college experience, beware, Brother Dan. Beware, Terrell. Beware.
Yeah, I like it.
And you mentioned Eli Ricks. Folks, if you do not know, Eli Ricks is a transfer from LSU.
Yep.
Yes.
So it is personal, I'm sure, for some of those LSU wide receivers. Keyshawn Butte, I'm looking at you.
He's got to be somebody that steps up. Like, he's got to be somebody that steps up. It's been too many times. We all know he's one of the best wide receivers in football, but it's more by name and what we've seen in past. It's just been too many times this season where he hasn't stepped up to that.
I completely agree. He's got to, I mean, I don't know if it was Brian Kelly. I don't know if he was dinged up a little bit, but TJ, before we get you out of here, I wanted to ask you about one more thing. You covered the Mississippi State angle. And by the way, his show, folks, I was on that. You got to give out. It's a great show because you go out there and you give out 3 dogs that are going to cover the spread or win on the money line. And if you hit 2 of 3, you move along to the next week. It's really awesome. You got to check it out.
I'm looking for it. Colby was an invite this week because we had one of the handicappers who had been there 4 straight weeks, but then he didn't get the 2 correct. If you get 2 or 3 correct, you come back. I'm looking forward to you being back on 3 Dog Thursday. It's a podcast, but it's also a video show on BetUS TV. My man Colby's got 2 Big 12 underdogs. You like both the Kansas teams. You're explaining that, and I know you've been talking about that here on the show. I love that Notre Dame pick. That's my only college underdog. They've been an underdog, Terrell, 3 times this year.
Yeah.
Lost the game to Ohio State, but they covered. Underdog at North Carolina, they won. Yep. Underdog early in the week. I think they ended up being either a pick 'em or a -1 at Syracuse, but for 3 Dog Thursday in the midweek, they were an underdog. They won that game. Yep. Now you're giving me points at home, primetime game, Clemson, quarterback situation up there. I'm all over the Irish. I'm with you. With you on that.
Love that angle. I wanted to ask you, though, about Auburn at Mississippi State.
Yes.
Covered Mississippi State. They're back in Starkville. This is the athletic director game. He just left. He left Mississippi State for Auburn. But Cadillac Williams coaching.
Yes.
Coaching his first game.
Mm-hmm. And look, I know they're in shambles, but I have great love for Cadillac, who was a Tampa Bay Buccaneer after being an Auburn Tiger. He has worked his way up. He coached some high school ball in Florida for several years. Gus Malzahn brought him to Auburn right before he left, either the year before he left or at least a couple years before he left. He's been the running backs coach. Brian Harsin was smart to keep him for recruiting, etc. But look, they had like 3 other offensive assistants that they fired with Harsin. So I don't know if Cadillac went and got some of his high school coaching buddies or who he got or who he promoted on the Auburn staff. I can't trust Auburn right now till I see a game. You know they will be ready in the Iron Bowl to try something, but I don't know how ready they're going to be here. And remember, Mississippi State it was just decimated by Alabama a couple of weeks ago. So I don't know if this is them coming out roaring with Will Rogers. The thing about Mississippi State that strikes you real quick, they don't have a lot of downfield speed. It's all underneath, like West Coast offense out of the spread, 5 and 10 yards, looking to hit slants and out routes. And Alabama locked that down, and it was nighty-night. It was the sleeper hold. It was over. But I think I got to trust guys Mississippi State more in this situation because I don't know what we have for Cadillac and for Auburn in disarray.
Auburn fans are saying it's already basketball season. They got the Jungle, the Bruce Pearl. They're tipping off on Monday. And remember, folks, TJ also the Tampa Bay Buccaneers radio sideline reporter. So poor him. He's got to go to Germany. He's got to go to Germany. Right?
Well, right now we're struggling to win in the continental U.S., the Bucks, and if we don't get the win against, I don't even want to say it about the Rams game, or if the Bucks don't get the win. Now we got to go to Europe to try to get a win against the Seattle Seahawks. Got to go to Germany to try to win.
That's the Northwestern angle. They're 1-0 in Europe. They can't win in America.
They can't win in the continental U.S. Exactly, the exact opposite here. So we'll see what happens with the Buccaneers in the NFL. But you guys are doing a fantastic job. You always have with picking all of these games, all of the insight. I'm interested. I've got a buddy of mine who is at the big noon kickoff right now. He sent me a picture a minute ago where Fox is for the TCU Texas Tech game. And Colby, you were kind of looking at that game, but with Texas Tech, you don't know who the quarterback is. And Joey McGuire, the coach, was going to both quarterbacks in relief against Baylor last week, and they were both bad. He played 3 quarterbacks last week. I don't know how you trust Texas Tech in that game that's coming up here in a few minutes. I don't know how you do it.
Well, the CFP giving TCU just Sonny Dykes should text them and say thank you for disrespecting us because I think they're going to be ready. I was ready to perhaps take the Red Raiders on the money line as a dog, but now I'm all on TCU. I think the situation, it's in Fort Worth. I think TCU's problems probably be on the road in the next couple weeks, but for this week, I think the Horned Frogs get it done. TJ, I appreciate you hopping on the show, man, and safe travels to Germany.
I will get some schnitzel for you guys and report back, some strudel, whatever it takes, Guten Tag from Germany. But I will be monitoring all the college football, even from Germany next week. They're 6 hours ahead, by the way. But I'll be monitoring the college football next Saturday from there. Going to be a wild Saturday today with those SEC games, Tennessee and Georgia. Quickly, are you guys on Tennessee? Or are you liking Go Dogs?
Yeah.
Both on Tennessee.
Gotta go
Hey,
Vols.
listen, I am born in the Volunteer State in Memphis. They haven't been this excited in Tennessee since Dolly Parton's new outfits, like in the 70s at the Grand Ole Opry. They are pumped for this game against Georgia coming up this afternoon. Then we get Alabama, LSU tonight. Wow. I mean, it's going to be something else, guys. I look forward to it.
It's a fantastic day. Terrell Furman here is friends with Hendon Hooker's family. So
there we go.
You know, he's super excited.
If they win at Georgia, does this is a legitimate question, Terrell?
No, crown him Heisman.
Does it give him the Heisman
crown him
trophy?
Heisman. No, so I already said
big in this game. It's tough to argue, right?
I've said it. I said that in this game, they need to go ahead and have the Heisman. It should be on location right now in Athens. And if they win this game, when he has that post-game interview, just go ahead and hand it to
Buckeye
him
fan
and says we're going to give it to you early.
Buckeye fan is saying the name C.J. Stroud because they still try to run
no way
the tape.
you beat Alabama and Georgia and don't get the Heisman. Like it's his. This is it. It's his. If he doesn't win this game, then it's going to go to Stroud. And maybe that's what you do. You have 2 trophies, and you sit here and you say, "Hey, hold on, CJ. We gotta wait and see how this Georgia game ends, and then we're gonna
have a clone." All right, listen, guys, have a great day. I appreciate you, Colby Dan, for hopping on 3 Dog Thursday. Thank you for letting me hop on here. Viva la college football! The barrage of like 12 hours is about to get underway here. I cannot wait.
Thank you for having me on your show, and folks, check out that show. It's absolutely fantastic. 3 Dog Thursday on BetUS. You got to check it out. Safe travels, my friend, and enjoy the day.
Go get them, boys. Thank you.
Take care.
Let it ride.
All right. Well, look, before we get out of here, we got to give a parlay. And shout out to TJ. That was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Great.
What I know we only got 6 minutes till kick, so we just gotta give our parlay here. I know we didn't get to every single game today, but it's okay. We did it on Wednesday. You can go back and listen to that episode if there's a game happening later today that you're trying to catch. I think parlay wise, I think we got to take Kansas State, who I mentioned before, in the Little Apple in Manhattan.
Hey, wait,
Kansas.
we got to talk about. I know it's been a couple of weeks, but last time we gave out a 27-1 parlay.
Oh, that's right.
That underdog parlay. Right. So we in the green. We in the green.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, that was the last time we were together. I was in College Station last week, so the show was in the hotel room. Didn't really come together. So I will take K-State though.
Okay.
I think that's just it's dude. Texas is winless on the road. They've been circling this game. I think they will tear down the goalpost if they win this one.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I kind of like the James Madison angle at Louisville.
Yeah, no. I like James Madison too. Thinking, I definitely think they'll cover. And if they went out right, I wouldn't be surprised. It seems like a spot where James Madison might be like, hey, hold on. We had, this is a couple down weeks, but I don't know if I feel comfortable laying 7 with Louisville. So I like that game.
Yeah, and Todd Centeio, their quarterback, I think is going to be back for this one. Slick Rick says, take Temple, Old Dominion, and Georgia Southern. I do like the Georgia Southern play too. And well, I mean, Temple, I don't mind it either. South Florida, we
got to have Notre Dame in there. I feel good about Notre Dame. And
okay, let's go.
And we felt better right there with CJ as well. So yeah, I like Notre Dame.
So let's go with Notre Dame, Kansas State. Do we do Tennessee? Is that too chalky?
How are we doing? Is this on the spread or are we doing money line?
I'm saying we go money line parlay right now.
All right, money line parlay. We got Kansas State. We got Notre Dame.
Kansas State. I'm seeing wait, what was plus 130. Plus 130 on K-State. I see Notre Dame currently at plus 150. That's 2. If we were, I mean, obviously the LSU or Tennessee would be huge. I mean, Tennessee,
yeah, it would. It would.
The question is which one do you trust? I trust Tennessee more, to tell you the truth.
I do. If I had to pick between the two, it's definitely going to be Tennessee. But I don't like the line movement in that game.
James Madison, they're getting 7.5. They could win that game.
Nobody's talking about James.
It's a look ahead spot. Clemson's on deck for Louisville.
You're right.
Let's take JMU as the 3rd. Do we throw a 4th out there?
Let me see. Where are we at? We could
go.
You want to take Baylor on the road?
Liberty, Baylor. What about, man? There's not. Let's go Georgia Southern at home, taking on South Alabama. How about that?
I like Georgia Southern in that one.
They're getting, and look, South Alabama's a 3.5-point favorite. Georgia Southern's got a great record at home. Let's go with it. All right, so Georgia Southern, James Madison, Kansas State, and Notre Dame. Let's fucking go.
What pays? Hold on, let me see what that pays. Dang, where's the James Madison game at? There it goes. That pays 46-1.
Boom. Let's go. And Dre Youngin saying, hey, Jeff Sims is back at quarterback for Georgia Tech. They're 3.5-point dogs to Virginia Tech. That's not a bad option. That game is gross, but it's not.
No, it's not. It's not.
What about Miami, Florida State? That's a rivalry. I'm taking Florida State, though. I think Miami's horrible.
Yeah, I really do want. It just feels like this is the spot where Florida State just gets back like years of payback on Miami in this one game.
I think so. Tease wise, oh no, Tequila's saying Jeff Sims is out, so do not touch that one. Tease wise, if we got 1 minute left, I think this is where you tease Tennessee up to 15. I can't see them losing by more than
15. Tease Tennessee and LSU Belfort.
So Tennessee to 15, LSU to what, 20?
Yeah.
And then you'll have, I mean, you could go Notre Dame plus 8.
19.5, same thing.
Yeah, Notre Dame plus 8, maybe. I like that. And then Kansas State. Get that thing up to 9. There's no way they lose by more than 1 score, right?
Hold on. We got. Yeah, no, I like Kansas State. Kansas State's a good one. Wait, let me see. Is that a good tease? Yeah, it's a good tease. Okay.
Let's go. Let's go, folks. It's 9 o'clock. The games are on, right? 9 o'clock here on the West, noon on the East. Appreciate Terrell Furman Jr. hopping on with us.
Always.
Yes. And folks, listen to the NBA Gambling Podcast, and I'm sure you'll catch him on some college basketball episodes too. Because remember, college basketball starts Monday. The college.
Oh yeah, we'll be here next Saturday. We're doing football, double duty, football and basketball. So we're gonna have to be a lot quicker with this.
Best time of year. Best time of year, folks. We will be back. Subscribe to the College Football Experience. Subscribe to the College Basketball Experience. Subscribe to the NBA Gambling Podcast. Subscribe to the Sports Gambling Podcast. Come talk it. Whatever sport is your cup of tea in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. And let's ride out of here. This is the College Football Experience, Week 10 pregame show. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Yeah, it's got me thinking about the good shit. The minute that I seen your grill again, it made me good trip. Good dog the mind back like dog, but wind that. Man, I didn't get mad when you near me hit me can back.